More Than Gems, 5 Life Lessons from Corrie ten Boom. Life moves fast, doesn't it? Between work, family, and everything else demanding our attention, it's easy to feel like we're just getting by instead of truly living. Some days, we're just trying to keep our heads above water. But what if I told you that your life, your struggles, your faith, your purpose was part of something much bigger? Let me introduce you to Corrie ten Boom. She wasn't a celebrity or someone with power. She was an ordinary woman who faced extraordinary challenges. She lost everything: her home, her family, her freedom. And yet, she found strength in God, even in the darkest places. Her story isn't just a history lesson. It's a guide, a roadmap for navigating our struggles with faith, courage, and purpose. Because whether you're raising kids, building a career, or searching for what truly matters, you are worth more than gems. And Corrie's life holds 5 powerful lessons you can start living out today. Lesson 1. Say yes to the right things, even when it's hard. Every single day, we make choices. Some are small: what to cook for dinner, whether to hit snooze one more time. Others, they shape our entire lives. What we say yes to determines our priorities, our peace, and ultimately, who we become. Corrie ten Boom and her family made life-altering decisions when they said yes to hiding Jewish refugees in their home during World War II. They knew the risks. They knew the cost. And yet, they didn't hesitate. Because to them, saying yes to what was right mattered more than their own comfort or safety. Now, let's be real. You and I may not be hiding refugees, but we do face tough choices every day. We can say yes to stress, overcommitment, and the pressure to do it all. Or we can say yes to the things that truly matter: faith, family, purpose. So here's my challenge for you. Today, say yes to something that aligns with your values, even if it's inconvenient. Maybe it's choosing rest instead of pushing yourself to exhaustion. Maybe it's putting your phone away to be present with your kids. Maybe it's finally stepping out in faith on that dream God put in your heart. Because sometimes the right yes changes everything. Lesson 2. Find strength in small acts of faith. When we think of faith, we often picture big moments, huge leaps of trust, grand acts of courage. But what if real faith is actually built in the small, quiet choices we make every day? Corrie ten Boom and her sister Betsie understood this. Trapped in a Nazi concentration camp, surrounded by fear and suffering, they made a simple choice: to thank God for their fleas. Yes, fleas. It sounded crazy at the time, but those fleas kept the guards away, allowing them to hold secret Bible studies with other women. That small act of gratitude turned into an opportunity to bring hope to others. So, what small act of faith can you take today? Maybe it's whispering a prayer when stress creeps in. Maybe it's choosing patience when your child spills juice again. Maybe it's trusting God with the little things: your schedule, your finances, your relationships, before the big things even happen. Faith isn't just about the grand, life-changing moments. It's about the small daily steps that build a foundation of trust in God. And when we start strengthening our faith in the little things, we're ready when the big challenges come. Lesson 3. Fear is a liar. Face it with faith. Fear is sneaky, isn't it? It whispers doubts, plants worst-case scenarios in our minds, and keeps us from stepping into the life God has for us. Whether it's fear of failure, fear of not being good enough, or fear of the unknown, it can be paralyzing. Corrie ten Boom knew fear. She lost her home, her freedom, her family. But in the middle of that darkness, she held on to one truth: never be afraid to trust an unknown future to a known God. She didn't have all the answers. She didn't know what tomorrow held, but she knew who held tomorrow, and that made all the difference. So let's bring it back to you. What fear is holding you back today? Maybe it's a tough conversation you've been avoiding. Maybe it's stepping into a new season, starting that business, homeschooling your kids, or leaving a toxic situation. Fear will always try to convince you to stay where you are. But faith reminds you that God has already gone before you. Here's something to try. When fear shows up today, don't let it win. Speak truth over it. God has not given me a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Take a deep breath and take one step forward, because fear only has power if we let it. Lesson 4. Forgiveness is strength, not weakness. Let's be real. Forgiveness is hard. Sometimes it feels downright impossible. When someone has hurt you, when the wound runs deep, forgiveness can feel like letting them off the hook. But here's the truth. Forgiveness isn't about them. It's about you. Corrie ten Boom learned this firsthand. After the war, she was speaking at a church when a man approached her. She recognized him instantly. He was one of the guards from Ravensbrück, a concentration camp where her sister Betsie had died. He had become a Christian, and with tears in his eyes, he held out his hand and asked for her forgiveness. Corrie froze. Every part of her wanted to refuse, but she remembered that forgiveness isn't a feeling, it's a choice. So she lifted her hand and said the words, "I forgive you, brother." And in that moment, she felt the power of God's love flow through her. Now, maybe you're not facing something quite so extreme, but is there someone in your life you need to forgive? A family member, a friend, maybe even yourself? Forgiveness doesn't mean saying what they did was okay. It simply means handing the burden to God instead of carrying it yourself. So today, take a deep breath. Say the words, even if your heart isn't there yet, because healing begins the moment we choose to let go. Lesson 5. Live for something bigger than yourself. At the end of your life, what do you want to be remembered for? The size of your house? The job title on your resume? Or the way you loved, served, and made a difference? Corrie ten Boom didn't live for money, comfort, or status. She lived for impact. She traveled the world, sharing the message of hope and forgiveness, even after losing everything. She didn't just talk about faith, she lived it, even when it cost her. And because of that, her story still changes lives today. You may not be called to speak on stages, but you are called to something just as important. Maybe your purpose is in your home, raising kids who know they are deeply loved. Maybe it's in your workplace, showing kindness and integrity in a way that stands out. Maybe it's in the little everyday moments, choosing patience instead of frustration, reaching out to someone who's hurting, or saying yes when God nudges you towards something new. Living for something bigger doesn't mean making huge sacrifices. It just means choosing to live intentionally. So today, ask yourself, what small step can I take to make a difference? Maybe it's sending an encouraging text. Maybe it's volunteering your time. Maybe it's simply reminding yourself that your life matters. Because you were made for more than just surviving. You were made for impact. And that starts today. You are more than gems. Corrie's story isn't just a piece of history. It's a wake-up call. A reminder that faith is stronger than fear, that courage is found in obedience, and that even in the darkest times, God is still at work. And here's the truth, friend. Your story matters too. You may not be hiding refugees or standing in a war zone, but you are fighting battles of your own, balancing work and family, chasing dreams, navigating heartache. And through it all, God is shaping you, strengthening you, and calling you to something greater. So let this be your reminder today. You are more than enough. You are chosen. You are equipped. You are worth more than gems. If this message spoke to you, share it with someone who needs it. Let's lift each other up, walk in faith, and live with purpose. Because the best stories, they're the ones we live out every single day.